You can imagine, he had a very tall golden... Hello, welcome, Ellis. He had a very tall golden crown, right? Very tall golden crown. He had this cloak that covered his whole body. You couldn't see anything but his eyes. It was his eyes and a big blanket over his body. And he lived in this humongous castle on a massive hill out in the forest. He was surrounded by big, tall, green trees. And he was pretty content with his riches and environment. But he was very greedy, as I mentioned. So one day, the king woke up, I'm gonna go on an adventure. So he left his castle. He lives alone, by the way. No, he doesn't need anyone. He left his castle, and he found a beehive, like a nest. I know, right? Hanging from the tree. And he knocked on the tree as if it were a door, and said, "Hello, bees. I am the king of the mountain," right? And one bee came out and said, "We don't like you, stay away," and stung him. And he got very, very angry, so he cut the entire nest down. And he dug inside of the hive and opened it up and found a queen bee and said, I like your crown, give me your crown. So he took the crown off the queen bee and placed it upon his head.
Here.
Next.
Do you want to see it?
What's so
Here, let's move it up here so you can see, yeah?
He continued to walk.
See?
I know, I'm actually really happy. This is a lot. Oh my god, okay. So, then he walked and walked through the forest, through the winding rivers, around the trees, meeting many different animals. And then he got stung by a mosquito. And it so happened that this mosquito also had a very small crown upon his head. And he squished this mosquito. Squished him. But the crown stayed very solid, very maintained. So he put the mosquito crown upon his head. Then he walked and found a village. And in this village was a farm. And on this farm were cows. And he noticed that one of these cows had a massive crown, bigger than him. Huge crown that laid on the cow's head. So he asked politely this time, who knows why, "Can I have this crown?" And the cow went, "Moo, no." So, what do you think he did? He snatched it. What a greedy king, right? What a greedy king. So he continued to walk, and at this point he was very far away from his castle. It would have taken him half a day to walk back. Long time, 6 hours. So, he continued to walk,
No,
and
that's 12 hours.
shush! 6 hours. 12 hours is daytime. 6 hours is half a day. As he continued his walk, no, this is not.
Sit down, guys.
They're my brothers. He came upon a pond, and in this pond were fish. A pond. Fish, frogs, and other creatures in this pond. And he said, "Oh my God! Each one of these creatures has a king that has a crown." So what do you think he did?
Snatched it.
Incorrect. He drank all the water from the pond. Remember, he's quite big. He's a big, tall king, and he drank all the water from this pond. And he found the king frog, and he found the king fish, and he found the king turtle, and he put all the crowns on top of his head. And at this point, you can imagine he's this very tall, lumpy king, and he's he's got like 8 crowns on his head now, right? Let's count. He has his own. He has the cows. He has the bee. He has the mosquito, frog, turtle, fish. So he has. I wasn't counting. How many is that? 7? I believe it's 7.
I'm 7.
8.
Most everybody is 7.
8 crowns.
No, it's 8. You are 7. Because you said 5, and then you added that.
Okay.
It's 7.
Finally,
Maybe 5.
he found a village, another village, a second village of people, and there was another king who looked quite similar to him, except he had very, very green eyes, and our king has blue eyes. It's pretty much the only difference. They wore their, the blanket over them, and they had their crown. And he was very jealous because this king had people in his village, and back at his home, he lived in a castle all alone. So he got very rageful and jealous. And what do you think he did?
What?
burned the village down.
Yum.
Shush, it's okay. It's okay.
He
He burned the village down, but no one was hurt. Everyone fled. Everyone went to the first village that we talked about. Remember that first village? He went back to the first village. Everyone, all the remaining citizens and the king. And while they're all running away, our king snatched the crown of the second king.
No, he is not.
And he fled, and he fled, and he fled, and he fled. And then eventually, this king walked so far, so very far, he walked off the face of the earth. He walked so far. Shush, no, it's a children's story. He walked off.
This is the word.
He walked off the face of the earth, and he was falling down in the
What?
face. And then suddenly, he hit a cave ledge. You know how there's a cave?
So much interrupting. But the
Yeah.
end and the how he reflects.
Thank you.
Okay, the earth is not flat. I'm gonna make that very clear.
It's made out of stars. How about that?
Thank you. I have the story in my head. I forgot most of it. He is falling, and then he falls into this cave made of stars. And he enters the cave, and inside of this cave is a massive sun. Like, you know the sun. Everybody knows the sun. There is a massive sun
The
with
sun
a...
flat.
Nope. No, the sun is not flat. You're very funny though. And the sun spoke. The sun. The sun spoke to him. The sun.
That is weird. Sun do not talk.
The sun. The sun.
He's so woke.
Oh my God! The sun said a couple of things to our lumpy, fat, tall troll king. Troll. He's not a troll. He said
No,
what?
he's a troll.
The first thing he said was, "How are you?" And our king responded, "I am angry." And he said, "Why are you angry?" "I do not have."
Sun can't talk.
And our king said, "I am angry because I do not have enough crowns." Now we all know at this point our king has how many crowns?
9.
9, 10, something like that. Yeah, a lot. And our son has 1 crown, and our son says, "But, great king, I see 10 crowns upon your head. And for this, I am throwing you back onto the earth." So the son, you know, with his long arms, he has long arms. He's a creature.
Sun isn't a creature.
Yes,
It's
it
a thing. He is not.
Grabs our king and he throws him back onto the earth. And hi, thank you for joining Story Time.
Bye
He throws him back onto the earth, and he lands in his original castle. He lands in his castle with no people. But this time, while he was traveling space, while he was traveling space, all of his crowns fell off of his head, and he landed back into his castle with no crowns. And what was our king originally mad about? Not having enough crowns. But look at him now, he has no crowns. And he lands in his castle, and he looks around, and what is happening to his castle?
I don't know.
It's being burned down by the same people that he burned their village. The same people. Why do you think they're doing that? Why? Because he burned their village down. So they found out where he lived, and they decided to do the same. So, that's the end. I'm sorry for how bad it was. I usually know it a little bit better.
Great.
Thank you. What is